welcome to the Help Desk. The Help Desk is a series of videos I'm putting out because I'm getting questions from people about how to use Logos Bible software. If you've got a question, go to preacherprep.com and hit the contact tab, and there's different ways to contact me. I love talking about Logos, and if you've got a question about it, I'm sure someone else does too. I recently got a question about how to import sermons into Logos, and so that's what we're going to talk about. And you can do two things when you import sermons. You can import the sermons directly, and you can import multiple sermons, and then also you can upload metadata to like a sermon series. And I'm going to show you what both of those things mean. I also want you to know that this feature is for packages silver and above. So if you have silver, either one of the standard packages, denominational packages, or the silver feature set, you're going to have access to what what I'm showing you in this video. The first thing I want to show you is a sermon. And this is in Word, but you can do this in Google Docs. The important thing when you upload a sermon into Logos is that it is a docx file when it's a document like this, a sermon or a personal book. But in a sermon, you want it to be docx file, so DOCX. Your PDFs won't work. Other kinds of files won't work. The only things that's going to work is a docx. And Logos is going to do its best to recognize headings and titles, underlining, colors, font size, font choice, all that stuff. It's not ever going to be a perfect match. Maybe it will for you, but if you like to add a lot of variety to your manuscript or what you've done, Logos is going to do its best to try and find a replacement for that. And so hopefully it'll be close. The reason I have liked to upload sermons into Logos from the past is because those sermons become searchable. And so even if I don't preach that sermon again, I typically don't re-preach sermons. I like to have that information in Logos because then when I do a search on a passage, it's going to show up. So that's why I like it. But here, I want to show you this. I've got this sermon. I've got Ruth 4, because that was the passage, as the title. Not very creative for a title, but that was the title. And then here, I've got Boaz pursued Ruth, Jesus pursued us, as the first heading. And so yeah, I've got that as a title and that as a heading, and so I'm going to save that document, and we're going to upload those here in just a second. The other thing I want to show you is Logos, and I'm going to put the link in the description, provides a template for this sermon metadata import, which means if you add a sermon to the sermon builder or the sermon manager, you have all that metadata information like the date and the venue and all the stuff. Well, you can do you can like put a series together in a spreadsheet and upload it, and Logos is going to have that information in it. I wish you could combine the two, where you like create the metadata here and then you add the sermons with the metadata. You can't do that. And so if you can kind of either pick and choose and then copy and paste like the sermon into the metadata stuff, but you can't combine the two within one action, which would be pretty cool. Because once you upload the sermons, you still have to add the metadata stuff. But if you have a series that you're working on, maybe it's maybe even like a year's worth of sermons. I always do mine in the sermon builder, sermon manager. But if you like a spreadsheet and then you want to import that information for like the next year, this is the perfect tool to do it. And so I'm going to put the link that has the link for this template. The thing that you need to remember when you import it into Logos, it has to be a CSV file. CSV file. So for sermons, docx. For sermon metadata, CSV. So I'm going to put all that information in there. I actually don't need to save that because it's already saved. And then I'm going to go to Logos and let's upload the sermons. All right, so I'm going to go to Tools, Sermon Manager, and then right here, the three dots right there where we get all the wonderful setting type information, the panel menu, we've got an option that says Import. And this is the two options that I was talking about. It says Sermon Schedule. So you can add, based on that sermon metadata, you can add empty sermons from metadata in a comma separated file. So the CSV, and there's a link right there that's going to take you information to information about the CSV. But again, this is for like a sermon schedule. This is not the actual sermons. But let's go ahead and upload it so you can see how it works. So I click open. I've got it saved on my desktop. So right there, I'm going to click open. 2 new sermons will be added. They have been added. And I'm going to click done. And then we're going to make sure we are filtered by date. Oh, I must not have had the other one filtered out by date. Let's see if both series are there. Maybe a better way to get to it. Oh, that's the issue. So on the Psalms one, I had August 18th, 2023 when I was putting it in, and I actually want to make that 13th. There we go. But these are empty sermons. So I think this is a great thing if you're wanting to like create a sermon outline for the next year, the next 6 months, have all that data in an easy to read place with different series and do all that. This is a great feature for that. The other thing we want to do is upload sermons. So I'm going to go to import. I'm going to come down here to sermon content. And again, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me, or there you can go to that file format details link, which is what I'm actually going to put in the description. I've got 2 sermons here, Psalms 22 and Ruth. I'm going to process those. I'm going to click done, and those should be right there at the top because right there at the top, because they don't really have a date to them, even though this says October the 19th. That is not true. I'm going to take that out. But what you get when you get these 2 sermons is, let me open up Ruth. Notice that like Ruth 4 is right there in large, and then heading 1 right there because I had it as heading 1. Logos is also, anytime you like put a passage in, it's going to automatically detect it and put that information in there. Maybe not the verse, but it's going to be like a hyperlink to a verse, and then it's also going to put that verse information there in the passages section. So any verses that you have in the actual sermon body are going to show up in the passages section of the metadata. So let me go back to the Sermon Manager. And so those are the 2 things you can do. You can upload with a CSV file, or you can upload sermons, but you can't combine them. So I can't take these 2 sermons and then like put them in the sermon series that I just created. It doesn't work that way. It'd be cool if it did, but really I think the sermon metadata is intended for people who really plan out their schedule. It's easier to do that maybe in a spreadsheet to have all your different series. If you're interested in doing that, I'm going to put the link for that template in the description. If you don't own the ability to do this, but you'd like to, I'm going to put an affiliate link in the description too that you can upgrade, and then you'll have access to this. And I would love to know if you're using either of these features, whether you're importing sermons or sermon metadata, sermon series information. If you are, put it in the description. I'm sure everybody would love to learn what you're doing. So hopefully this helped. Hopefully this has helped. And until next time.